Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone. Hello, how are you all doing? We're doing well. So glad you're tuning in. Anyways, I'm Kristen. This is Mac, and we are the M&K Productions podcast coming in with episode number 81. That's right.
Not like 80. It's not a full episode. It's just a mini-sode, but we're clarifying it as 81. But yes, this is a mini-sode, aka 81.
Yes. Today, we were sent a lovely gift from our friends at IFC and RLJ Films. For the latest film, We Need to Do Something.
There's not going to be a tornado. It's just a thunderstorm. Everything's going to be okay. Why weren't you answering my calls?
Look, I'm sorry. I think it's an EF5.
What the hell's an EF5?
It's like when two tornadoes come together and they form one giant tornado.
Mom, I think something might be wrong.
Won't open! A tree is blocking the door!
Can't we just break the door down?
That thing is made of solid oak. I can't just punch through it. Doesn't make any sense.
What doesn't make any sense?
We have neighbors. Someone would have come. They're all dead.
Why would you say that?
What if it wasn't just a storm?
We Need to Do Something stars Sierra McCormick, Vinessa Shaw, Pat Healy, and the one and only a rock legend who only has one line in the film, Ozzy Osbourne. And also a young actor named John James Corin. And we're going to talk about it today.
Yes, we are.
All right, let's get into what this film is about. After Melissa and her family seek shelter from a storm, they become trapped. With no rescue, Melissa comes to realize that she and her girlfriend, Amy, might have something to do with the horrors that threaten her family. This is directed by Sean King O'Grady, and it is based on the book by the same name by Max Booth III. And he is also the writer for the film. It has been released, like we said, on Blu-ray, so you can go pick this up. And if you want to add this to your collection, you can, and you have yourselves a horror movie night. So this is going to be like how we did our VHS 1994 review. So we're going to dive deep in. Maybe we'll talk some spoilers. This movie did, however, premiere at Tribeca last year. I think it's available on Hulu. When I last saw it, I didn't get to see it now that it's on Hulu. I just would see it on my feed. I wouldn't watch it, but until we got the screener or the copy sent to us, I thought, okay, this is like a sign for us to review it. So Mac, before I dive deep, what are your thoughts on the film?
It was fine.
I could say the same thing.
Like it was, I liked it was a very intriguing take on a psychological horror film. I liked it because in a way it could be based in reality when you're trapped in a space with people that you're familiar with and how that can probably make you want to eat a bullet. So like, I feel like that gives the film a sense of like real world grounded level to it, but I feel like everything else may have been a tad bit over zany, over the top.
My thoughts on for the film, it was good, but I think what really bogged it down is the one environment and not having to see what's going on around them.
I like when movies, there's a difference between like, if you don't like, it's like the environment, like, because there's movies that have done that like tremendously, like look at 10 Cloverfield Lane. And like, I feel like they had the right idea because this was filmed during COVID too.
Yep, so I was going to say this is a very COVID film. I
feel like it was just easy for them to record because they probably had the real world stress on them too while doing this. But I feel like the execution, it had $1 million set up, but just a 10-cent finish.
That's a good way to put it. I think what really dragged that down, like I said, was not having to see the environment, because the storm that happens right away in the film, it's a tornado, that happens. And Sierra in the film, Sierra McCormick, who plays the main character, Melissa, in the film, her and her family, Vinessa Shaw, Pat Healy, and John James Corrin, they're all trapped in the bathroom.
Yes.
Can't get out, and there's like a tree blocking their way out. And the roof of their house eventually becomes gone. So you don't really see like anything above them or anything that's beyond the outside door. So I kind of wanted to see a little bit and get a feel for what is going on, because the film opens with an above long shot surveying the town that the storm is going to be taking place.
Mhm.
We don't see the storm happen. We don't see
Well,
the events happening.
okay.
That's
Well,
what I mean.
I think that's more for like it could be up to your imagination, because like whenever a movie or a TV show does something where it says, "Hey, this event's gonna happen," so use your imagination to be like, "Oh my god," because like I know whenever you do reviews, I always do examples of other great stuff, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. So remember in the first Saw movie when Lawrence cut off his foot? And
Mhm.
we didn't see that, but we heard it, and then we can imagine in our mind like, oh my god, that's terrifying. So I think they wanted that to happen with we need to do something, because you're thinking if it's such a bad storm, how come they're trapped in this bathroom for so long?
Mhm. And one of the things that also kind of like I guess not something else. I'm going to actually like play off of what you just said. So one of the things that does happen, but I think is like briefly like viewed, but no, it's not really viewed because it actually does come up again. Is like the monster slash demon that's outside.
Oh my gosh.
We don't see that. And I guess this is where you also had to play what you're just saying with the imagination of that. I can agree. All right, I'll give you credit for what you just said, but I wanted to see more of this creature that we're seeing. But what we see in the end, I think the monster that was going after was Melissa's girlfriend Amy.
Mhm.
But I don't know. But I guess that's like again up to the interpretation of it. But I think what really also bothers what like this film has a current rating of a 35% on Rotten Tomatoes from just the critics alone. And
Oh no, it's at a 56% for me.
oh,
For
56, excuse me.
56% critic score, while it has a 30%
Yes,
on
excuse me.
audience.
Excuse me. I said the wrong number.
Yeah, so in conclusion, like critics and audiences were not messing with this movie. It says
No,
the critics consensus says, while we need to do something can feel as unfocused as its title, it offers eerily timely genre thrill soaked in claustrophobic dread.
it's a film that I will say also it is unpredictable how certain events play out, and also given the conversations, if you can agree to that.
Yeah, I felt like I kind of felt the same way, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's just like nothing from this movie really was like, I remember that like for a
No.
few days. I was just like, well, because every time when I was watching it, I just saw 10 Cloverfield Lane. There's all these people in this one location together. I will say, Sierra McCormick, she had to be the standout of the film. I remember her from Ant Farm and seeing her like grown ass woman now.
Yeah,
And like,
she's blossomed
yeah,
now
she's like
from
good actress. Like, I want to see more from her. It's like she did well for what she had to work with.
yeah, I remember her being on Ant Farm and starring in Jesse, because she was also in Jesse in a
She
few
was like
episodes.
she was like she's a guest star.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She appeared in it. And then she was also in a couple of Lifetime movies, Mag, one of our favorites.
Oh, wait.
It says 3 on her IMDb page. One is called Watching Over You, Pretty Little Stalker, and Who Stole My Daughter. Oh, and there's another one called Twisted Sisters.
That one I did watch.
I've also seen her in like another horror film too called Some Kind of Hate. This was also released like right after Ant Farm had wrapped up, and she played like this scary girl. I remember watching it, but I don't remember what happened because I was just like, I remember the poster and her being like a killing kid machine because she does kill like some of the people that are in that film. She's been drawn to a lot of horror films because
Maybe that's what
also
she wants to become a screen queen. We might see her in a new Scream movie, you know?
she could be. I mean, I could see her in a Scream movie actually because in 2019 she starred in the film The Vast of Night, which was released though during the pandemic, and it received some praise from it being on Amazon. A lot of people got to see it. And then she also was in American Horror Stories, which was
I
something
do remember that.
I was not a fan of. I am the
Let's face it, if you're still watching American Horror Story in 2022, get some help. Honestly, like that shows like it had 1-2 good seasons and now it just sucks.
It does.
They tried so hard, but
They tried very hard with that show. I mean, with the stories, it's just as bad. I wanted to throw my computer out the window because I hated it so much because of those stories. But like, her character in that show involves like the rubber suit, rubber, because you know the rubber man or creature that's in the show. And
the last good season I like was the circus one.
Yeah, that American Horror Story Talk for me is like a deep dive conversation because I enjoyed American Horror Story 84.
Was that the one with the summer camp?
Yes.
I think that's the one a lot of people hate. Or was it that one and the witch one that everyone hated?
There was a witch one. There was the one where they brought back the Covenant witches.
Because didn't like Sarah Paulson said screw this amount?
She's been on for like many seasons. She was just on the recent season.
Because she kept saying like I'm not coming back, but then she comes back.
Well, the thing is, she's close with Ryan Murphy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Ryan Murphy's a hack.
I mean, Ryan Murphy knew how to tell a great American Horror Story. I think back like 10 years ago when,
like I said, it's just the same. It's like, how disturbing can we get on TV? It's trying to be creepy to be creepy, you know?
And the Black Mirror effect. I mean, the whole aspect of it has died out. I mean, especially now, the last season was so bad. They did like a double feature and it was half aliens and half vampires.
I do remember that. And that's like, I had people, when did that come out? 2018?
That was last year.
The season that came out 2018, when I worked at Sears, I had coworkers who just like, they were like, I'm done with AMR. I was like, why? They're like, it's so stupid. I was like, but
it gets worse and worse every season. And I think they know that, but people watch this show still. They still watch American Horror Story. And I'm very angry because of that.
Anyway,
how bad it is.
Wait, how the hell are we talking about? We went from needed to do something to Sierra McCormick to Disney Channel to American Horror Story. We just jumped to like 3 different.
It's all part of her career. That's the whole point.
I know, but it's just like I just thought, like, wait a minute, what? I was like, oh yeah, but no.
But she also
she's a good actress. Yeah,
good actress, and she also is a co-producer of the film. So that actually goes back to her film career.
That's not bad.
Actually, many of the actors who starred in the film, including Vinessa Shaw and Pat Healy, are co-producers of the film.
Vinessa Shaw, I swear I've seen her on something else.
Vinessa Shaw has appeared in many.
Hocus Pocus.
Yes, and the original Hocus Pocus, she was the iconic Allison.
Yes. So I knew I remember her face. So I was like, all the time I was like, where is she from?
And she also starred in another great horror movie that came out last year called The Blazing Worlds, which I also highly recommend. Y'all should check that out. Yeah, she's fine here. I think her and Sierra have the great mother-daughter chemistry, I think, in this film. However, I must say, though, Pat Healy is a nutcase in this film of a father.
So do you think he was trying to channel his inner John Goodman or just try to do something else like Buffalo Bill?
I don't know. Honestly, I just feel like he wasn't trying too hard. I think he was just first starting off as the dorky dad. I think he was very incompetent with his character, how he is. That's just could be how the character was written. A father who's just angry with the world, and there was also stuff going on that involved him and his wife. Like
I'm assuming that's supposed to be like, oh, it's one of those things where like, look at the transformation of the characters. Like, you know, the ones that are goofballs can be the most craziest ones.
Yeah, he is goes nuts, and especially like nuts because in the film their characters run out of food. Therefore, they have to eat whatever they can that's in their medicine cabinet. Right. So at one point in the film, you see him take some Listerine, and I'm just like, bruh, you're gonna get sick from that and throw up. So that's not gonna do you any good. That's gonna make you feel worse.
I watched that. I was like, damn.
He just like took a swig of that. That's like a whiskey shot. Like,
I've
like,
known people.
That's good. I'm like, no, bruh.
Sad part is I've known some people who've done that.
Yeah,
so I can confirm.
I don't hang out with those kind of people who do that though.
Well, this was back in middle school.
Oh gosh.
So whenever you just do some stupid stuff to try something, so I was just like, but yeah, no, my stomach churned when I saw it. I was like, no.
And then eventually, he eats crazier stuff at the end when Vinessa Shaw is like, I'm gonna spoil it. He does eat like baby wipes, like alcohol wipes, and I'm just like, you were so desperate to eat baby wipes or Lysol wipes, or no, not Lysol wipes. Like, no, it was alcohol wipes. That's what they were. That's what they were. Alcohol wipes. And I'm like, what? And
don't question it.
He goes crazy. He goes stir crazy like anybody would if they can't get out. But then again, I was wondering how, if the bathroom had no roofer, like the roof was gone, like the ceiling was gone and all that stuff, couldn't there be a way for them to get out from the bathroom?
You would think so, but that's the movie that's not the movie logic we're working with, so we have to keep in with the lore, you know.
Okay,
you know, in a common sense situation you would think that'd be it, but like now in that one they're like, no, we have no way out of here. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, they do, unless there was another floor above them. But then they also had another thing too. They had, in one of the scenes, it looked like windows, like small windows in one part too.
Those are those small little bathroom windows.
That's what I was wondering, if they were like bathroom windows, like if they could have used that to break to see if they can get that through the outside.
Because some of those, they're like made of like they're not made to be broken, because they're like just kind of there for like aesthetic.
Like, I don't know if it's like, but I was like thinking of any possible way for them to get out. Like there like had to be some kind of logic. But another character is the young boy in the film, John James Corin, who plays Bobby in the film, who was the brother in the film. And I mean, he was fine. The kid did all he could with his part. And he's like the obnoxious, annoying little brother, you know, who loves his sister and likes to pick on her and all that stuff. There's like a moment that happens in this film where it turns very Hereditary. Like, I feel like they stole that from the book, from that film. And I'm just like, bro, you pulled off a Hereditary right here. And I think that's what a lot of this film does, like pull off some Hereditary moments.
Is that just Hereditary? It's just like different movies that like have kind of done it better, like Hereditary, 10 Cloverfield Lane, even to an extent like Belko Experiment.
Yeah, Belko Experiment has done that. I guess in the way that where I'm gonna go with this, I need to refresh myself with Belko Experiment with the scene I'm going to talk about, and that's the scenes that involve the snake.
I hate snakes.
Me too. I mean, when that rattlesnake shows up, I'm like, my God. I'm like, get that thing out of here. And I'm just amazed that they were able to work with that snake. I'm like, how?
Yeah, this felt like a very kind of like indie. Like we're talking like if it's IFC, it's like, or if it's yeah, it's IFC. It's a subdivision. If it's IFC, you're talking. This is really indie. So it's like there's not like a lot of safety caution. So that lucky that thing. I hope that thing was defanged or devenomed. So if anything happened, that they were covered their own ass. We'll say the one aspect I didn't like all the jump scares. Like fuck that.
Yeah, the jump scares weren't that good in this film at all.
Well, they're like I was looking at the parade, they're like, oh, the use of jump scares was actually perfect. I said, what do you mean it was annoying and it was terrible? Jump scares are not all right, let me preach up real quick. Jump scares are not they're not terrible, but you have to use them effectively. If you're just using them just to use them, that makes you suck. Mm-hmm. But if you use them well, like example, 2017, it had jump scares, but they used it because they anticipated it and you didn't know when it was coming. With like this one, you kind of can see staring on something.
Mm-hmm. Which is one of the examples that you mean in the film? Which one, for in terms of jump scares?
I can't think of a specific example, to be honest.
From the film. That's okay if you can't. But I can agree with the jump scares because of that. And I think this film was very limited of what it can do since it was a very much a COVID film.
Yeah.
So I will say that. And then the other thing is we will talk about the the direction. And that is the direction from Sean King O'Grady. And the man has produced a couple different things. This is the first, theatrical narrative piece he's done. He's done a couple different documentaries, but this was the first narrative piece that was turned into a feature film. He's worked with actually Pat Healy in the past, most recently Dinner in America, which I'm actually seeing pop up in a lot of places now, at least on my Instagram feed, telling me to watch it. Just a heads up. And I kind of like the direction, but once again, it's very limited.
It's clear that he needs to do some fine tuning because I see the potential, but he just needs to do some retooling of his style.
Now, I don't know how his documentary style is, but I don't know about this film side that involves a narrative aspect. There's just not, he doesn't bring a lot of audiences to leave or stick with, I don't think, the way that it came off. And he brings a lot of dullness to the suspense aspect to it. And that also could be due to the script. Now, like we had said, this is based on a novella. I don't know how the book is.
Is this based on a book?
It is.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's based on a novella. Like I said, it was based on the book that the writer of the film wrote the film on. Title of the same name. It just didn't really work in some aspects, and it's kind of disappointing, I think.
I feel like the book I think with this one, this is probably one of the times where the book could be better because I feel like the book gives more in terms of imagination. It could do more.
Yeah, this is where it comes in, the idea of building more and building off of that idea of imagining the much more larger world around them. But it does study I will give him credit this. He does a good job of studying at least the aspect of the human psyche and how one can become when trapped in this enclosed environment. But there's other films that have done that better.
Yeah, even I don't know if you ever heard of it, Drive.
Yeah.
Not Drive, no. Break with Stephen Dorff. Mm-hmm.
break. Yep.
That does it better because he was trapped in the truck the whole time.
Yep. I don't know that one. Like you just said, Saw. I think Saw is a perfect example of that for horror.
I'd say Saw kind of kicked off that whole thing.
But there's some influences, but I do also want to acknowledge before we have to wrap up anything, but I also want to give a shout out to Ozzy Osbourne because the man has been around for so long, especially for his medical stuff. I forgot what kind of disease that he has because I know that the drugs have taken a toll on him and he doesn't really perform on it anymore because of his current state and health conditions. I'm amazed he was able to get a speaking role for this film because in the film there's this tongue-like creature in the film, and basically it kind of comes to life and we don't see the monster, but it sounds like a dog, like a monster,
you know
type
what
thing.
Actually, that reminds me of remember that show The Terror, the first season about the Franklin expedition?
Okay, I just gotta rethink about that more, but okay.
That's like when you said the monster that we couldn't see it. I feel like that's kind of like The Terror.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no. That's a good example. I'm gonna have to look it up after. But we don't see this creature, but then it sounds like a puppy, like, woofing and like painting and all that stuff. And it eventually it talks. It says one line, and that's credited towards Ozzy Osbourne. Ooh. I don't know how he got involved with this.
Probably just said, "Hey, you want some money or coke?"
Well, actually, do you know what? Given the satanic stuff that also happens, because there's some satanic rituals, like the craft stuff that happens, like the craft with Neff Campbell, that stuff like happens in this film. So given all that, and given how Ozzy Osbourne is as a performer and his beliefs and all that stuff that he likes and what makes him his image, now it makes sense as I'm speaking out loud why he took part in this. I just want to know how they got the connection for it. I don't know if they said, "Hey, come on this," but I don't know. But then again, I'm also thinking like his son is also a filmmaker. So I don't know if that's a filmmaker friend, but I just thought it was interesting. Wait, I actually do want to say one thing. I saw this come up on the news today. Ozzy Osbourne reportedly wants to install bat boxes in his UK home. That's a headline I saw when I looked up Ozzy Osbourne today. I just wanted to acknowledge that. But anyways, we need to do something. It's officially out on Blu-ray. Thank you to IFC Midnight and RLJ Films for sending us this film. So what do you give it at, Mac?
I'm gonna give it a 5.5 out of 10.
I'll give it also a 5 out of 10. I'll give it a C, between a C and a C minus. Maybe if I watch it again, maybe I'll change my mind. But yes, we need to do something. It is available now. Alrighties, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this mini episode of a Blu-ray edition. Next episode, I don't know what we're doing. It could be either we're actually gonna be potentially getting another Blu-ray sent to us, and also in the mix we are doing Thor Love and Thunder. I was gonna say Ragnarok. I keep wanting to say Ragnarok.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so next time we're gonna bring on some guests for to discuss Thor Love and Thunder, and we're also gonna be lining that up with a Jordan Peele retrospective. So yeah. And we're also gonna follow that up with some potential celeb interviews, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get more Blu-rays sent to us. So if you want to send us more Blu-rays that we'd like to review, hit us up on our Instagram. But for now, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.